right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Liquid Weekly podcast. I'm your host, Karl. Wears hoodies all the time, Meisterheim. And with me, as always, the honorable, the good-looking, the strong, I don't know what else to say. Taylor Page. Adjectives just keep flowing out of me, and
I felt like that was like more than kind of just with the first two. So like you kept going. I was like, okay, this is awesome. So
I'm not going to say your wife
thank you.
sponsors us indirectly by suggesting certain things I should say to you to build you up, but money has exchanged hands.
Just here's a words of affirmation to send to Taylor.
That's
to
right.
Make him feel better today.
It really makes a big difference, she says, in your weekend. So
yeah, it does. I who doesn't love a good compliment, you know?
I know, right?
Yeah, but we're always on the same wavelength with t-shirts to some degree though, because like I intentionally wore like a gray shirt because I was like, you've been rocking a lot of like the darker shirts, and like today like you've got the hoodie over. Like
I just rediscovered that I had bought these years ago. They were in my closet. They're just kind of REI performance wear t-shirt thing. It's like it's hot, it's humid. I'm not performing, but my body thinks it is. So I'll wear it.
Well, hot. It was like 50s in the 50s this morning. I was pretty excited about that.
Today in this exact moment. I'm just saying in general. August.
Right, that's why you got the hoodie, because it's kind of like chilly in the morning. Cool. We're entering fall here in Ohio, and so it's like 50 degrees in the morning, but then like 80 something in the evening, that. And so like
this is fake fall. It's gonna be super stupid hot again, I'm sure. But speaking of compliments, so I work a lot from a restaurant because I have to get out of the house, and it's the kind of place you can do that. It's not obnoxious for me to be there. I've clarified that. It's very casual. Anyway, so people come in and it's like the seating arrangement is very like community. It's like a long table with like benches or like stools. It's or like the perch on the corner there. And so people will inevitably come and sit at the far end away from me. But as they come, I will often just compliment them on random things like, oh, I like your shirt. Or that's, very nice book that you're reading there. It's
just trying to make people's day, man.
Yeah,
that's just
and
nice of you.
The reactions can be mixed. So, some people think you're a weirdo. Some people genuinely appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, some people like, I don't know, like are pretty actually bad at I'm pretty bad at taking compliments in general. So, I mean, I take them from you just because I know they're so few and far between for everyone else. It's high praise coming from you. So it's very meaningful. But for a lot of people, like, yeah, like if I just don't know how to always take that. I also need to apologize in advance for all of the wild noises.
I can't hear it at this point. You subdued them.
Oh, they ran upstairs and like I can hear them like pounding away. So I was worried it was coming across on the audio here. So maybe it's a little bit better. But if you do hear a bunch of noise, nobody is getting murdered over here. It's just I have my nephews over, and so there's 4 kids playing and being ridiculous until they get to leave and go visit another uncle's house, who has chickens and pets and things, and so they're doing that or whatever. School starts next week, so getting into it.
I just want to say you're doing a great job at noise cancellation, Taylor. You really can't hear it at all. You really got that locked down.
That's thank you, Karl.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh man. What about because you homeschool your kids? Do y'all do like a traditional summer like everybody gets time off, or do you do like a year-round school thing?
I like to think we teach our kids year-round, but the program itself, the schooling it's a school year kind of thing. So they're actually just getting started next week. But nice. Like we're pretty fortunate. We've always had limits on like screen time and stuff, but like our kids just naturally kind of find things to do for the most part. And they're still at the age, the older ones are 10 and 12, right? So my son spends a lot of time just playing instruments, and he has a little workshop where he builds things in. My daughter does a lot of like sewing and creative crafting kind of stuff, and they just kind of keep themselves busy with that. So
that's awesome.
They read a lot.
Yeah. My kids have gone through ebbs and flows with that. They do the same thing with activities and screen time, and then they do the same thing with eating. It's really funny because yeah, like I said, I don't know. I guess I do the same thing. So I say our kids do it, but like I do this too. I do the exact same thing. And so like they'll go through these periods of time where like they're so good at like, we're going to watch TV for like 45 minutes and then we're just like, we're done watching TV. Like we're going to go play outside. We're going to go play. We're going to do this other stuff. And there's other times where it's just like, they're just going to be on the couch for hours until you get them to move. And so you're just like, at a certain point, like we typically don't try to change anything until it becomes noticeable in like their behavior. Like sometimes kids get to that point where like you can just tell like they're more agitated, they're more short-tempered, and so like when that starts to happen, we start to kind of like pay more attention to like what's happening and try to adjust from there.
Start to parent at that point.
Start to be a parent, yeah, like at that point. And so, like, all right, we'll tag in now. But and the same thing, like I said, with eating, that's and again, I say that I'm the same way. Like I love, like we hit the summer, and so are you familiar with the difference between ice cream and frozen custard? Like there's a difference. There's a difference. Okay, frozen custard's awesome.
It's gross
and amazing, and it's just better than ice cream.
Tastes like eggs.
And so I mean, I love eggs, so maybe that's why. But so there is a local like frozen custard place I love, and
what's it called?
Wits.
I say local.
Dude.
It's a chain.
They
got them here.
It's a chain. Have
you heard of this Baskin Robbins? There's only one.
It's not like Culver's. Like it's a local chain. Okay.
No, they have them in. I know this for a fact. They have them in Granville. They have them in Johnstown. They have them in Columbus.
But Ohio, right? They're not multi-state. Local chain. If it's in the same state, it's a local chain. It's not yet. So I'm still claiming it. I'm still claiming it. So, anyways, Carl, I just found out basically we spent our entire eating out budget several times this month, like just on ice cream alone, like in the summer. So I talk about our kids going through these phases. I too go through these phases. This is why I work out, because I love ice cream. And so, but yeah, they do the same thing. Like they'll be in this period of time where like they can just like walk away from like they've got like a half-eaten bowl of ice cream. They're like, I'm full, I'm good. And then there's other times where they're just like, yeah, I'm gonna get some more. And I'm like, no, like you just ate more than me. Like I'm a 240-pound full-grown man, and I'm weighing like 4 times more than you. There's no reason you should be eating as much food as me. So, like it's funny. Being a parent's funny. So
yeah, make your own. We my wife has a little ice cream machine, and she makes custard and puts it in there, and half an hour later you got mostly frozen custard water, and then the next day it's even better.
Mostly frozen custard. So okay, so you have an actual ice cream maker. Have you seen these like creamies? Like everybody talks about these creamy
maker.
Things.
I mean,
like,
it just stirs it. That's all it does.
Yeah,
like you put ice around it, and it's not really making much. It's just agitating it.
Yeah,
so I hate to call it a maker because anyway. So no, the creamies. What are these creamies? Tell me about your creamies.
That's the brand Ninja makes them.
Oh, of course.
And it's just, I don't know, like you throw a bunch of stuff in it and it makes ice cream. This is the extent of what I know. But I keep telling my wife, like, this is like, we need to get one of these. Like, because if we make it at home, then we save the money. But then it's just like, well, do you want to save money? So because this is what we actually did. The strategy worked for a while. Until the summer apparently, and then my willpower went out the door of like, we would no longer buy ice cream for home, because if it's home, I'm going to eat it, and like it's cheaper, and so you can buy more of it, I can eat more of it. So we resolved to, we're only going to get it if we go out, and that was fine for a while because it's like, oh, it's expensive. But then you get to the summer and it's hot out, and it sounds amazing every single night. And it's just like, what a great way to end the day with a like 1,000 calorie plus amount of sugar or whatever, like right before you go to bed. That's what a great way to cap off your day. Yeah. So anyways, I'm trying, Carl. I'm getting better at it. We'll see.
Is this, do we switch? Is this a food blog web podcast now? Or we should probably talk about Shopify. People might be wondering what we're doing.
We're just trying to get those sponsorship slots, waiting for Oreo. And dude, we went to the beach, the other local, the Cedar Point beach. It's a pretty nice little beach. You can just pay to park. You don't even have to have season passes or whatever, but like pay to park. Or if you know someone with a season pass, you could just get right in. And so, but my wife bought these, they make double stuffed Nutter Butters now? Like, those Nutter Butter, like.
What's a Nutter Butter?
They're great. You don't know what a Nutter Butter is?
Well, oh my gosh, look it up.
It's like a peanut butter cookie, and they have them in the shape of a peanut. And so there's two pieces of the cookie, and they put little peanut butter filling in the middle of it. So if you like peanut butter, it's great. The double stuffed, I was only moderately pleased with it. I think they need to make a mega stuffed, because I didn't think double stuffed was enough. I thought double stuffed should probably be the standard, but that's just me. So And honestly, it just shouldn't be as good as I think it is because, again, I don't need more things to, consume. So, food for thought. Nabisco.
Literally.
If you guys are listening, hop on it, please. That'd be awesome. So, what about you? As far as like we went to the beach, some personal stuff. Like we were trying to get all in. Like the last little bits of summer is waning here, and we're moving right into fall. School's starting up next week. I'm very excited for high school football's picking up. Like
Ooh.
we are in the town that I graduated high school from, and so
Are you still a hero?
We live pretty close to the stadium. What's that now?
Are you still a local hero? Do you have your name somewhere on some plaque for some achievement from?
No, I wasn't. No. Actually, one of our, oh my gosh, one of like the star running backs, set all these records and stuff like that when he was in high school. Grew up to be like a murderer. Like there was this whole thing. Like dude's in prison now. It's yeah, bad. Probably from the head trauma. That's So, anyways, I'm excited for high school football. Going to the game tonight. We live close enough to the stadium. We walk there. Like that's really nice as well. You can kind of hear like the band practicing during the week when we're sitting out working on like our deck and stuff or whatever. So it's really cool.
Yes, we know you have a deck.
I'm really excited
it's lovely. You have to bring that up.
It is lovely. I enjoyed immensely. So best money spent there. I'm so glad that I paid somebody to do it and I didn't try to build it myself because it would have taken twice as long. Probably wouldn't have turned out as good. And then anytime I build something, I'm always like just thinking about like, when is this thing going to break? Because I built it. Like, when is it going to break? If someone else builds it, I never think twice about it. Like, yeah, same thing. Like, when is this code going to break?
Taylor's clients
someone else builds it, I trust it completely. So, personal wise, that's kind of what we've been up to. Not a whole lot. Just gearing up for school here. Kids are excited. My daughter is playing fall softball, so that's exciting too. Really enjoyed kids playing softball so far. It's my favorite sport my kids have participated in. Just the people, the way that it's set up, and in general, I understand what's happening as opposed to soccer. Usually, I don't know what's going on. So, I think it's
because nothing goes on in soccer. It's the most boring sport. Sorry, everyone. Especially every non-American listener is like, what did he just say?
Yeah, so we're offending like the better part of the rest of the world here.
I just never got into it. Anyway.
Yeah, me neither. What about y'all? What are you up to here? What's the down low on the Meisterheim household?
It's been a little bit of a rough August in terms of health wise. I have been going through some stuff. I can't walk right now. Well, I can walk now, but I couldn't because I made the mistake of trying to jog at some point. And I'm at the age where you can't just decide to do that. Although, full disclosure, like I've jogged before. I used to run a fair bit, and then I was recovering anyway, so I have really bad like plantar fasciitis or whatever, so I'm in PT right now, so it's helping, but it's been a long road. I just want to get back to be able to hike as the weather gets cool. And then my son, my 3-year-old, he fell and broke his arm, so he's in a cast.
Oh no.
So we look like we've been in a battle over here, but we're getting through it. Luckily he could swim with it, but he doesn't swim anyway because I don't know, whatever. So we're running out the summer, excited for the fall, get back to school.
It's tough when the little kids. I think my son was around 3, maybe, when he had to get stitches in his face.
Ooh,
because he was running around. He got a bread sifter out of one of the cupboards in the kitchen or something. Was for some reason running around with this. He thought it was like the coolest toy ever. Anyways, he tripped and fell right on top of the bread sifter, and it split. It split this part of his lip here, pretty good. Okay. And so we took him to the hospital. They said he was going to have a bad scar, but they did a really good job with it. It healed up very, very well, but it was brutal. Just like him, like having to get stitches in his face and like, and they're that small. They don't really understand what's going on or whatever. And so it was just, it was rough. So broken arm, like really feel for that too. That's really tough. Oof.
I will share one more thing about my personal life. Then we'll talk Shopify. I think it's time. But
talk about work.
This is really irritating me, so I have to bring it up. So, alluding back to how my kids do stuff. So my daughter is really into crafting. I recently pointed out to the fact that, hey, you should do this up in your room instead of down here on the dining room table where you just fill it up with all the stuff and there's crap everywhere because we're going to use this for homeschool. And you have a huge bedroom because we move things around. And you actually have one of the biggest bedrooms right now. So I found a desk for her on Craigslist, which ironically, the guy I bought it from was a Rails developer. I think I mentioned this last time. I can't remember.
No.
Didn't I? No, I got to get this thing. He's like, yeah, I'm moving out. I'm a developer. I'm looking for another job. Oh, what kind of development? Rails. Like, oh, great. So am I. It's like, how ironic. And he's like, you guys hiring?
Immediate besties.
Like, no,
are they hiring? Yeah. Come on, hook him up with a job, man.
He said he wants to go work in Canada. He's actually not a U.S. citizen, so I think he wants to try to go up north. Anyway, so there are more of us out there, Rails devs, and if you're looking to hire one, I know a guy. So anyway, so I'm trying to get a chair for her because we have the desk. Now I need to get a chair. So I'm looking on Facebook Marketplace for forever. And I'm kind of picky because I want it to be a certain type of chair, and I also don't want to drive an hour to get a stupid chair that costs like $15. So I finally found a chair. It looked great, and it was a little far away, and I had some time yesterday, so about half an hour I drove out there. $30 for this adjustable chair, office chair. Looked nice. I mean, $30, maybe a little more than I want to pay for a used chair, but it suits her needs. I get there, and as we're transacting the deal, I noticed that the chair was like slowly getting taller. I was like, wait a minute. Normally, like, the chairs sink, and that's a problem.
Right.
I've never seen one where like you adjust it down and then like gets high again. Like this could be a problem. But I've driven half an hour. I'm sure we'll figure this out, right? I load it up, put it in the car, bring it home. Sure enough, can't figure it out. I think the chair's ruined. It just gets super tall. My daughter can't sit in it because she's not heavy enough to push it down. So once it's
slowly like,
so then I'll just tie it down. So I push it down, I tie this, and the only rope I had apparently is a bungee because it's just like stretching.
No.
So long story short, I wasted $30 on this stupid chair. Never gonna buy anything on Facebook again because this keeps happening to me. I should have just spent the $50 whatever for some Amazon basic dumb chair, not driven forever. Been done with it. Lesson learned.
Yeah, it's always hard when it's one of those things where it's just like, oh man, this is a deal. But then you're like, I got to drive an hour and a half to save $50. And I'm like, well, that's an hour and a half. My time, like the math is not mathing, like when you start to like really look at that or whatever. But I used to, it got to a certain point where I was like that. I'd drive like 2 hours to save $50 until at a certain point I was like, wait a second, like this doesn't actually make sense. Like, why am I doing
I had a bad era of my life where I was getting into those online auctions, like the surplus property, and I had brought home like a broken toilet seat. I had an attic access ladder that didn't fit my attic.
Oh my gosh,
just don't do it.
That's fantastic. I feel like everyone goes through this phase of like where they're like trying to get these like little deals, and at a certain point like you just realize how much time you're spending, not only like trying to like actually drive and get these things once you finally find them, but like actually spending the time just like looking for these deals. It's one of those things where you do the math on your time. You're like, oh, this doesn't, unless you just like really enjoy it. I had a buddy that he flipped cars. He used to sell cars. He actually sold so many cars in college. He'd find cheap ones, fix them up. Really, really like engineer, like mechanically smart dude, like could put anything together kind of type guy. And so he'd flip these cars and just, fix them for like the, the $80 part that he could just replace himself. Someone else would have to pay thousands of dollars or whatever. And then he'd, make 2-3x on this thing or whatever, just like on a weekend. And so, but he sold so many cars in college, like he actually got a letter from the state that said like, hey, like you have purchased so many cars for the year, you have to actually get a dealer's license if you buy any more cars. So he started putting them in his wife's name. So like, it was just really funny, but he actually, he just like, he enjoyed it. Like he would just sit on Craigslist and scroll for hours, like, or whatever. Because Facebook Marketplace wasn't even a thing then in college at that time or whatever, right? And so he would just hours and hours on Craigslist or whatever, just like scrolling and like looking. And I would go with him a lot of times or whatever, just because he was like a smaller guy, And so he would like, if he was going to a sketchy part of town, he'd be like, hey, can you come with me to this job? Or whatever. I was like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. So he was fun. He actually, now he actually does have a car dealership, funny enough, or whatever, but it took years. He worked at a plant that manufactured parts for Honda for a while, figured out how to shave like a couple seconds off the production line. So he got like a big $25,000 bonus. Wow.
Oh.
They promoted him multiple times over and over again until he's like one of the top people. And then just at a certain point, he's like, I want to do my own thing, and just started selling cars. So, that's what he does now. He owns a car dealership that he built from scratch with his dad, kind of type thing. So really cool.
You have some very impressive friends, or an impressive friend. They speak
Yeah, yeah. One of those, I kind of lost touch with him or whatever after college and everything. So he lives in Indiana, but yeah, it's been a minute. So
all right,
really
let's
cool
talk
guy.
Shopify.
Sorry, yeah, let's talk about Shopify. Speaking of,
Karl, you can start your work right now.
Craigslist and things. One of those things that I think it's really interesting. There's this idea in Shopify even too, where you can find these ideas, boring businesses or whatever, things that you don't think really are like super complicated or whatever necessarily, but people will pay a lot of money for it if you can figure it out in a way that makes it easy for them. So Craigslist is a phenomenal example of this, right? Like notoriously like really basic UI, and it's still around, Barely. And so, and I think like that's like a really small team, and like they're all millionaires, or whatever. Like it makes a crazy amount of money, kind of type thing. So, but I think there's different little pockets of this in Shopify, and I was asking you about something this week.
You were
as well, where I was just like really confused. I'd actually asked this in SDA about, hey, I have this client where we wanted to get a product feed. And so like we needed a product feed specifically for Reddit. So like Reddit Pixel, they wanted to run ads and stuff. And so they need this product feed that just outputs like information, right? To stay up to date, blah, 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 kind of type thing or whatever. So that way you can help your ads convert better and all this other stuff. I don't understand the ad mumbo jumbo thing or whatever. I just know they need it. And so they needed, a catalog of your products up to date all the time. So
from their own store.
I was like,
right?
okay, what's that now? I'm sorry.
This is just from their own store for their ad backend.
Yeah. So from their Shopify site. So all Shopify sites, if you ping like, Shopify URL /products.json, like you can get like all this info, right? Like all the products on the shop or whatever.
All the info, right? Because they redact some of it because people were abusing
Correct.
that.
Yeah. Like you can't, like for instance, like you can't, not you can, they don't want to publicly surface like inventory, for example, or whatever. Like a lot of industries are like highly competitive. I didn't realize this until I worked for a camera shop, and they talked about how like we absolutely cannot have anything that indicates anything related to our inventory. Like even when we're sold out, like, and all this other stuff or whatever, like because it's highly, highly competitive. Like these other shops will come in, load up the cart just to try to guesstimate like how much of whatever they have, kind of type thing. So yeah, and stuff I don't really understand as a lowly developer. I'm just told these things, whatever. And so
lowly,
like, yeah, same thing.
Living developer.
Ice cream living developer. So like, there's so much information that's surfaced in this like /products.json, like for these Shopify websites, right? It's like, so can we use this URL? Like that's pretty simple, right? It's just JSON, right? And so
how hard could it be?
Right. Apparently that doesn't work for Reddit. Like necessarily, whatever you need it to be in a specific format, and it needs to be served. Typically what is most common is it's served via CSV. So like, this is pretty common for all these folks, right? Or whatever. And so had to look at apps to do this or whatever. So thankfully, and I'll have to bring him on again. I think we should bring on so Griff. I ended up using Griff's app. I don't know if you remember Griff.
I remember Griff.
Brought him on a while ago. One of his apps is called Feed Genie, and so it does this. It creates these product feeds for different providers and stuff like this, or what have you, really easily, so you can hook it up to these things. So like Reddit was one of them, thankfully. Woohoo! And so like we just used his app, called it good, because in research, all these other data feed providers or whatever, like it's expensive, man. Like they're all running. Like if you want to run anything more than 1,000 SKUs, like they're all like $100 a month or something like this or whatever.
And these are all
just to
apps
provide
that you
these
just
data feeds.
Install in your store and that generate a more structured feed of your product JSON.
Yeah.
You sure?
That's my understanding, and that's why I was like, dude, what am I missing here? I was like messaging you. I was like, what?
I'm in the wrong.
And
business.
so I need to ask him what is, and he's obviously really smart guy. Like he has to know a lot about different versions of product taxonomy, because they support apps not only on Shopify, but he's got BigCommerce and all these other places or whatever too that they're supporting folks. So maybe that's part of it too, is all these other touch points where people need these different catalogs and feeds, formats and stuff that these different providers require. I was like, but man, so I only came across this because in shopinfo.app, my little app now that does, just keep track of all the Shopify themes in the Shopify theme store. One of the things people were asking about was an easy way to export all the data to a CSV. because they wanted to be able to like kind of go over this. And so I was like, okay. So with Rails and AI, like I spun this up in just like a couple of hours and then like made it a pay gated feature. It's like the first paid feature for like this thing, right? Like nothing else has been paid. Everything's free, whatever. And so like I was like, this was really easy to do with Rails. Like why wouldn't we just spin something like this up for the shop? You know what I mean? Like at least so, and I don't know, like if you have thoughts there, I know you said you really haven't like messed with this too much or whatever, but as far as you built it last night and you're like, thanks Taylor for the idea. Take that. It's already submitted. I've already got 4 out of my 5 reviews for BFS and everything. So like we're ready to rock. So yeah, no, I just think it's kind of interesting. Like, so something, if you know it relatively well, like Rails for you in this instance or what have you, if you just need something that's going to take like data and like spit it out to a CSV for people, it's like, this feels like a low lift for somebody if you know what you're doing. Obviously, I don't know what I'm doing. Obviously. And so that's why I was like, there's got to be some hidden gotchas. But I feel like there's a lot of opportunities in Shopify for things like this, where it's like people are willing to pay like quite a bit of money for things that seem pretty simple, where after you start digging into it, like even if you're doing custom work or what have you, or even public apps and those sorts of things, I feel like there's a lot of opportunities still yet, even with 16,000 or whatever apps like this on the App Store.
Well, that's, I think, partly why when you first posted that, I was like, I must not be understanding what he's saying, because I don't see anything complicated here. But so either you're way wrong and there's this whole level of use cases.
I think I'm way wrong.
I don't know. I think you could be right.
No,
that was always the details.
Right. Yeah. So I'll have to.
Those $100 a month apps, like presumably they're.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
They're doing something. I was just gonna say they're presumably. I don't know if it's like Yeah. Anyway, be curious what their value proposition is.
Yeah, I think they must do something with the data, like once they have it or something, to make it easy.
They must.
To like, they have. Yeah, you have to be doing something with data. But like if you're smart with data too, like I feel like there's a lot. That's what everybody wants, even when they're talking about shopinfo.app or whatever. Like I'm just all about, like, I'm really interested in themes. Like we can check it. Like we've got this information available. And everyone's like, well, like, I bet people would pay for apps and stuff like that. I'm just like, I don't know that I want to mess with apps, man. Like, it's just like, that's such a bigger, this is just kind of something I do for fun. And like, just to stay interested and connected. But like there's already stuff like that out there for apps, right? But all that stuff's not perfect either way. Like you have to do a little bit of digging for some of it, so it's not just as simple as like, checking network calls. Everybody charges for that. Yeah. For apps and stuff. 100%. Yeah. So, but that was never my original goal or intent, even with shop info. Like, it's just more like, spin something up to make it easy for us to check shops when we're working with people. And then it was like, hey, like this is actually really handy. I'm like, okay, like we'll let other people use it. And now I have a couple of app devs that have asked about using it internally, like within their own apps and stuff, so they can do a quick check for like support and stuff like this or whatever. And so that was why, like, okay, like I'll open this up a little bit more, and then I figured out, oh, like, well, if I do have an API, I can also make a Raycast extension, and I love all things Raycast right now, so I'm doing that. So I think, so all that is to say, like, if you kind of figure out like data to like come up with or whatever, have you seen that Levels.io guy on like Peter Levels on Twitter?
All right, Taylor, I'll buy it from you. How much do you want to sell Shop app for?
So Peter Levels, you know what I'm talking about on Twitter?
I think I've run across whatever.
So he's done a couple like just databases or whatever, and that's his thing. Is like just create these databases and people pay for it, which is like really interesting. I don't know what value there would be for something like just Shopify themes. Like I said, I think you have to do something with the data. So same thing within Shopify. That catalog or product feed information, pretty accessible. Like being able to like just create a URL that gets hit like in the format for a CSV or whatever, like for like these different providers like Reddit and whatever, like seems like it would be something that like wouldn't be that hard for you to provide as a service for clients. And then if you do it enough, maybe you can make it an app and stuff like this. And so
we better get on this before this episode gets out, because I mean, our listeners, the 2 of them that are still with us, aren't dummies, and they're gonna go do this probably.
No, like I said, they've got to be doing something with the data. I'll have to ask Griff a little bit more about like the things that they're they're doing or what have you. But I think that's the big thing. In his app, it was nice. Obviously, it's great when you can refer a friend's app, and like that's the one that I want to push hard. But his app was actually much more affordable, and that's why I felt like that was more realistic. I was like, why are these guys asking like all this much more money for like this? Actually feels like this is on point for like what it's providing kind of type thing. So yeah,
well, this feels somewhat adjacent to that thing that we learned about at Editions that when we were there together this year, not the one we were apart together. Was it the global directory, whatever they're putting together to feed all these AI
the global
companies
catalog
doing shop? Yeah.
Sounds
a lot like that, except that's obviously federated. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and for those of you that haven't, so I think originally I saw this post from Kurt Elster of Ether Cycle. He recommended downloading, and I had not seen this announced anywhere. The knowledge base app from Shopify. It lets you know how often your shop is being found, like via like LLMs and stuff.
Really?
Very helpful app. You can also change because it'll query against your shop for information as well. So you can find out and replace information like to come back specifically based on questions that are being asked as well, or give it questions like to have answered kind of type thing. So really, really interesting. I would highly recommend people like download that just because that's becoming much more relevant for people to find shops as well. I don't think obviously it's going to like completely eat SEO, like organic SEO or traditional SEO anytime soon necessarily, like search engines and stuff like that or whatever. But I do think it's coming. Like, I don't know about you, like personally, like when I try to look up information now, I actually start with AI. And then if I don't like the answer that I'm getting, then I go to actually try to search and research it or whatever.
Yeah. We should talk about that because I got a little work related thing.
Oh man.
Enjoy. Yeah. What do you want to give away your business idea anymore? Or are you done talking about that?
No, yeah, I think the problem, it's one of those things I feel like, you know, me as somebody pretty uninformed from my side of the seat thinks it looks pretty simple and easy or whatever, but like I think as soon as you start digging into it, it is that. How many sides of a seat are there?
You said from
my
your
side of the table.
Seat.
My side of the table. I said my side of the seat.
How many people are in there with you?
There's it's just me and my big seat. And my duckies.
If you need another seat, I have one. It's available for sale. Super cheap. All you gotta do is drive 2 hours and pick it up for me.
So this is not what you're asking. So unsolicited, what I've done with these things before is I've just drilled a hole and put a pin through them where they need to be set when they can.
You drill a hole through the gas piston?
Well, you need to remove the piston.
The piston's what's holding it up.
Can you remove it?
No.
It's just like there's not like an outer sleeve where you can pull the piston and then like you can just have the metal sleeve where you can just like drill through it.
No.
Yeah. Well, that's a little bit more problematic.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I gathered. Anywho, stupid cheer. Speaking of AI.
Speaking of.
This is a good segue maybe. So I've been working on this app still not out, but we're very close now. And we had some beta testers, and one of them recently tried it again and like, hey, whenever I use your theme extension that's part of the app, the storage just refreshes constantly. I'm like, well, that doesn't sound good. And so I'm looking at it, and it only happens in Safari, purportedly.
Safari, man.
Like, that seems bad. And I'm looking at the shop, and like, this shop has a bunch of stuff installed, so it could just be like some weird interaction, whatever. So I'm like, you know what? I'm tired. I don't want to think about this. It's some browser thing. So I said, hey, AI, here's what's going on. What are we going to do about this? I'm like, oh, let me take a look. Oh, yeah. No, totally. Like in Safari, the way that you're detecting changes of the cart, it's not going to work. And in fact, it's seeing our detection of the change as the change itself. And so it's just getting to the loop. So here, let me add like 500 lines of like browser specific code to your theme extension to handle this. I'm like, you know, if I was a better developer, I'd care, but I'm not. So fine, let's just do this. So I deploy it.
Did it work though?
No, it didn't work.
Oh.
It's the whole slot machine thing, right? I totally fell for it. Like, we gotta pull that lever. Come on, baby.
They got you. Nope. They got you.
Didn't work.
That Stack Overflow just caused your whole site to come down. That little snippet, you know.
So like, I don't know where it's getting this from. So I'm like, well, maybe I need to think about this a little bit. So I think about it a little bit. I do some work. It's like, oh, it's pretty clear what the problem is.
The developer steps in. You start to parent,
That's right. This function's telling it that it needs to refresh the UI when in fact there's no reason to, because the campaign that it's looking at that makes it think it's time to refresh isn't even enabled at all. It's like, what's going on? So I go back to the LLM. I'm like, hey, look, dude, you totally botched that. I did some work. Thank you. You're welcome. And here's what I found. Now fix it. And so it did. But now I've got like 5 lines of fixes that it based upon what I suggested to do that actually solved the problem. But then I've got like all this other code that it added. So I'm like, okay, this sucks because I don't want to keep all that in there. So I'm like, all right, see if this will work because I don't want to diff this. I'm like, all right, AI, what I want you to do is I want you to take these fixes that you just did, but I want you to apply them to the previous version before you did any of that other crap and just make it all work. That actually worked. So
nice.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's an AI success story or not, or like somewhere in between.
Yeah, but no. Yeah, it's definitely, well, I don't know. It's one of those things I feel like you have to kind of get used to how it works. So is this which AI, when we're saying AI, what are you using here?
Well, I was working Cursor and I was using Sonnet 4. Okay. I was trying to burn up my last credits because my thing reset today. So.
Oh. I need to look at. So I'm still in this position of like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna like re-up for Cursor when it comes up, like, because I'm still, I'm thinking like Claude Code has just like been rocking it, and I'm super happy with how it's been working. Like I rarely use Cursor unless it's like something pretty quick and inline. So because Claude Code's plan mode like gets around like what just happened with what you were talking about, like that's typically where I would use plan mode first to be like, hey, this is what I'm experiencing, blah 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 blah. But then you can like feed it too. Like logs and stuff too. Does Cursor have plan mode?
Well, I think so. I mean, like, so Cursor's got just a chat version and an agent version.
Yeah, the agent. And then what's the other version?
In the agent version, I almost exclusively use the agent version, and then I'll just tell it, like, hey, let's work up a plan for this approach. Like, tell me how you might go about it, and then I'll reason with it, and I'll say, well, this seems dumb. Can you make this better? And it will make it better. And okay, fine, go do that thing. And then it does that thing. That's the same thing, right? That's plan mode. No,
I don't know. Maybe it is. Like plan mode is more robust in the sense that like it actually like gives like the spec kind of type thing ahead of time, which I don't know. Like if you have Cursor like write to some kind of a spec, because this is how Kiro works. So Kiro is that other,
which is still open. I wonder if I still have the unlimited usage.
You still have it open. Close it. So did you say they launched too already? Now they've got usage pricing and stuff too. I was like, oh dang.
People are pretty bitter about that.
I missed the boat. I missed the boat. So that's okay. Like I said, it's a little bit more. So I feel like Claude Code is perfect in the sense of like it's between what Kiro uses and then what I find in Cursor for plan mode, because with plan mode you just do a quick back and forth and it gives you like this excerpt or whatever. It's like, hey, this is what we're gonna do, and then you can kind of go through each little bit of it to make sure like the logic is sound in its planning before it executes. And so the problem that I have with like agent mode and Cursor or whatever, it's a lot of chatting back and forth. And so I will miss stuff because it's like, it's almost like it's building this context in the background. And if you aren't like super aggressive about like how like this one line here that you didn't correct or whatever, it'll actually botch your whole thing. Versus like Kiro, it's like when you're in plan mode, it creates like 18 docs. And it's like, hey man, this is what we're going to do, which is really cool as far as helpful for me in the sense of like mental models of building like the design implementation like in different phases, but not necessarily super helpful as far as like this is just a lot, man. And then you have to go through as it creates tasks and like click, work on this task and it does it, and then click the next one and then work through it as it does it. And then I don't know, like I just really like how Claude Code does it. So like that's maybe more of a personal preference thing or whatever kind of type thing. But all these tools are still great to use as far as that goes. I do like planning as opposed to just having at it, because it does do a better job. Like I said, I tested it out with like theme blocks and it like totally borked with something or whatever, but then once I gave it structure and then gave it something to work with, it definitely did a better job. So you giving it more of that prompting. I've also heard you need to clear context regularly. I don't know if you've seen that. I don't know if that's a thing in Cursor.
Oh, it's a thing. I mean, you can spin up different chats, and so I'll kind of keep them siloed. So if I'm working out a feature, I try to keep that in a single chat so it has the context that's it's done it. But if I'm switching where it's about, I do all that, Taylor. Okay, I know how to use Cursor.
Well, Okay.
Appreciate you.
I'm just curious. So like yeah. I mean, if it works, I think it's a success story. Like as long as it's not one of those things you ended up spending 4 times the amount of time you would have otherwise, like just fixing it yourself.
I feel like the danger.
Safari is always the problem, man. It's just Safari. Oh gosh.
I'm not even sure it was Safari. I think it might have been. Well,
no, let's blame Safari. It's the Internet Explorer of our current.
I don't think it was browser specific. I think it was a bug in the code. But I feel like I'm on that line of like, okay, the trade-off is saves me some time, but then the other side of it is produces code that I don't necessarily fully appreciate or understand on a deep level because I didn't write it from scratch. And so I feel like that's something you have to constantly balance, right? And so I try to be pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? Engaged with it. Like, I still use the GitHub desktop app for my source control primarily.
Oh,
really? And here's why. Historically, I use it because I had a close personal friend that worked on a major feature of that back in the early days.
Oh, okay. Well, that's,
so I just stuck with it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's Matt. I was just being a punk. Sure. I honestly have no experience with the GitHub.
But here's what I do. It makes the diffs very clear, right? And so I'll be using Cursor, and Cursor does it too, but I don't like the way it does it. So I'll just switch over to GitHub and I'll look at all the changes it made and make sure I understand contextually why it's doing it. Both for my due diligence of understanding the code, then also sometimes it will illustrate things that I push back on and it changes, right? So I find that very helpful. So if you can keep it constrained, but when it does something stupid like that 500 lines of like Safari specific JavaScript, like I'm not going to read this. That's just dumb. Mm-hmm. But I might have to someday when I have to fix it.
I am downloading the GitHub desktop app right now because of your personal recommendation.
Well, it's free. It doesn't stink, although now that GitHub's solely under Microsoft control, who knows how much longer that will last. But you heard about that, right?
I mean, we say that, but I mean, like, honestly, you
didn't code through the 90s, my friend.
It has been, well, I get that. Like, I understand, like, the concern with Microsoft, but, like, they have been killing it since they took over. Like, GitHub has literally been great.
No, they didn't take over just recently. Like,
I know. So it's been years now at this point.
Kind of. It always operated independently, even though it was part of Microsoft. Now, with the exit of Thomas, the current CEO or the ex-CEO, they're bringing it into the fold fully. So, like, yeah, we'll see.
Okay,
opinion.
Okay.
We'll see. I grew up hating Microsoft. It was like open source or the evil empire. So it's hard for me to get on board. Although Microsoft, you're listening to this and want to offer me a job, totally could get on board with that. Especially if it's like code time.
I'm willing to overlook.
I'm willing to look past all of that. Because you do pay very well.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, okay. I'm gonna test out using this today then. So
please do. I don't know how I got there. Anyway, so that was my little AI rant. Last week, I think it was, I was looking at that webhook thing, right? And even though Cursor was reading directly from the Shopify MCP server, it told me things that weren't true at all about how webhooks work. And here we are with another one. So every week, it's another battle.
It's another battle.
But it's really the net result. Is it saving time? Is it helping you get the results you need? And I think, if nothing else, it still feels like maybe it's the activation energy. Like when you're starting on something, there's just like that mental hurdle, right? Like, how is this even going to work? And if AI can help you even just get over that and like show you a couple of ways that obviously it's seen people do something similar, that in of itself, I think has been helpful to me.
Yeah, I've appreciated using Gemini for that. A little bit of like, I just want to workshop this a little bit before, like, and then take like that kind of plan or spec or idea and like dump that into like Cursor or Claude Code, whatever you're using at the time or whatever. Mainly because, so I pay for like Google Workspace, so I get, whatever associated with that comes with Gemini or whatever. And so, I'm not burning up like any like usage or credits or context or whatever that I don't want to in other capacities kind of type thing. So I do like it for that, at least. So some other cool things with AI potentially that you've seen, that I think probably just to talk about Shopify real quick, because we didn't talk about this at all in the last podcast episode. Did you see the ginormous update to the Shopify theme store?
I did not.
Okay. So if you haven't recently, go take a look at the theme store.
I was on a build up for
the themes. I know. I was like, I don't know where I was going. So the theme store previously, we had like 200 some themes, right? But if you go to the theme store today, like you will find that there's like 800, almost 900 themes on the theme store.
Get out.
And so, yeah, it's like a little confusing, right? Like, what in the world happened? Did Shopify all of a sudden approve like 700 plus themes or whatever to like just randomly drop onto the theme store? That's not what happened. So Shopify actually expanded what we're calling themes here, what gets surfaced to merchants, from just the theme with their presets. Now each individual preset has their own listing, which is really interesting. So beforehand, there were a lot of issues with how presets were presented. I said that right? And so like you'd have this one theme, they might have anywhere from none to like 6 different presets. And the preset is just like a different style. It's typically meant to serve a different niche. Like at least historically, that was kind of like the idea, like style or niche kind of showcases the breadth of like the design capabilities of the theme.
Oh, okay.
Because a lot of times, particularly with merchants, when they download a theme from the theme store, they're like, the theme that they see in the demo store, like, this is my theme. Like, this is exactly what it is, or whatever kind of type thing. And so the problem is, and one of the original issues or ideas I had behind shopinfo.app as well to like detect the theme and tell people what it was just so that way people could see like they're very highly customizable. Like the thing that you see on the demo store doesn't have to be that theme at all from what you're looking at. And oftentimes it's not. And so, but there is a lot of this back and forth with the majority of merchants of like what they're seeing, they're downloading, what they're getting. Now before, if you wanted to download a theme preset, you'd go and you check it out or whatever, you'd download this theme. It actually wouldn't install the preset to the store. It would just download the base theme, and you'd have to go into settings. You'd have to find in the theme settings where the preset was located, and then you'd have to say, oh, I want this preset applied, and then it would update. But this was really hard. Like theme devs were having to provide a lot of support just to like, how do you get to like this preset after like it downloaded like my preset, like this theme, like I didn't want this. I wanted it to be this thing. They're totally different names. This isn't what I wanted. And so one of the reasons that I understand that they did this was it made it easier to surface these individual presets now. So like when a merchant sees this theme, they actually download this theme preset and it actually downloads the preset to their shop. They don't have to change anything. So benefit there, reducing some support time for theme devs. But like, as well, the filtering is supposed to be a lot better now on the theme store. So like beforehand, you'd have like, you'd look for like electronics or something like that, and you'd see a lot of overlap versus now you should just see like just the themes presets that are associated with that. So instead of having, a ton of themes in a bunch of different categories, you now have a lot better consolidation associated with those presets. I would argue that probably like the most important thing is probably features filters that they need to really probably focus on. That's, to me, when I'm telling people like how to pick a theme, I tell people to focus on features first. We can make it look like whatever we want relatively easily enough, but specific features are the things that typically will take out time to build. So you might as well build something that has, or start with something that has it already built in. Cuts down dev time, all this other stuff. But yeah, there's also, so you should go to just go to any listing. They've also changed the demo experience. It's actually kind of nice. Like it's all like on the page, like you're not opening up a new page and stuff like this. So it looks pretty good.
You seem pretty excited about it.
Yeah. I just want to make sure I covered a whole bunch of stuff since we missed it last time.
I honestly don't interact with the theme store hardly at all. And so it's good to hear about it because, well, what do I care?
Yeah. So I think it'll be, it's all the more interesting just because it's kind of been met with mixed reviews so far, as opposed to people that thought it was a good thing or a bad thing. Now people are like, well, like there aren't actually like that many more themes. It's just because they were these presets or whatever. And so now it's making it look like there's a lot more themes than there actually are. I don't know. I don't know if that makes a difference or not.
That's never seemed like a problem to me in the Shopify space, like the lack of themes. I feel like if anything, there's too many themes, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean,
Everybody should be
I would
paying you for
disagree.
bespoke themes.
I think we need more themes because a
Really?
lot of them feel, yeah, sure. A lot of them feel the same. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of themes that come out and you're just like, I mean, this just looks a lot like this theme, you know, or these three other things. You know what I mean? So as
Well,
far
how much
as
can you change? I mean, a theme, there's only so many things
true.
you can do.
Yeah, true. That, and I know the review process, like they end up cutting a lot of stuff too. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we've had people on the podcast before that have talked about that, the theme review process. We need to have another theme dev on. We haven't had someone from the theme store on in a minute. But they do end up cutting a lot of things that they want, like some features and or different things or whatever kind of type thing, which is, I mean, good and bad. It means people like me that get paid to build stuff like that in get to come in and do it. But I don't know. I think the idea is always trying to reduce the complexity and make them pretty simple and easy to use. That's not always a win for the merchants and why some feel like they have to go custom. But I don't know. I always like, you know, building on top of an existing theme from the theme store rather than, I'm building from scratch rarely, like truly from scratch, like a Shopify theme init from the CLI or whatever, like rarely makes sense. Or if you have your own, just makes you beholden to that agency or that freelancer if something breaks. So I've never understood that approach unless you just have a ginormous budget and you got money to burn.
Yeah. Well, apparently some people do on these $100 product beat apps, right? So maybe it's...
there's a lot I don't understand. There's a lot I don't understand. That's basically what I'm saying.
What else you got for us?
Well, that was the big thing. I know I wanted to talk about that.
Well,
Just the big update on the theme store. Also, I know you had, because I think you used the online editor somewhat. You saw that they've just totally moved over to VS Code for the web for that.
I haven't used it since they did that, but yeah, that's pretty cool.
What, Carl?
Sorry, I'm busy.
So I think it's pretty nice. In general, I'm still not using it. I want the CLI. It's pretty rare instance that I would ever use this, but I think it's nice that it's there.
Yeah, I think it is nice it's there. I mean, the kind of work I do, I feel there's oftentimes where I want to bop into a theme and I'm not necessarily set up to do it from the CLI, and I know I could, but it feels like a lot of overhead just to get in there and do something that I need to do. So this is a welcome improvement from those of us that live like that.
Yeah. I do like that you can, did I change this?
Is it by default or you still have to use a flag in the URL?
No, you don't have to use a flag in the URL. Okay. It's the default now. Yeah, nice. No more. It was very short preview window for that. They were like, hey, like use this flag. And then like the next week, maybe the next week or the next week after or whatever, they were like, there's just like, all right, this is the experience now. Like they were just, they were all in. So, which I thought was interesting. There were actually a couple people that were like, oh man, like this isn't a good thing. This is bad for merchants. I'm like, why? Like, why is this bad for merchants? They're like, well, it's just like unnecessarily complex. I was like, what are you talking about? This is like, I don't know. If you think this is complex, you shouldn't be in here. Like, what are you talking about? You know, like, I don't know. Like that, maybe that's a rude or a harsh thing to say, but like, should merchants really be hopping in there if they think something like this looks really complex?
I don't know.
Carl doesn't want to be controversial. I'm trying to be controversial today. So
no, well, here's my controversial take. I think one of the strengths of Shopify has been that it always has been accessible to merchants to make changes, right? They don't have to have a priest class of developers to have to go through necessarily. So if this takes away from that, which I'm not saying it does because I haven't actually seen it yet, then I could see where that might be considered a downside. But hopefully it's best of both worlds.
Yeah, no, I don't see how this is more complicated. The other editor was like very, very simple.
Yeah.
Search for this is great. I think that's the biggest benefit, and that's most of the benefit that I've heard. Theme and app devs are very happy about this because they won't spin up anything on the CLI for this, right? They'll hop into the online editor direct and they'll just like look for stuff in here. So this makes their lives a lot easier, at least.
It's good that you bring that up because you're right. I actually have not used the vanilla theme editor in quite a while. I've always used an extension with it. Predominantly for the search feature, so.
Yeah. Now
I can remove that.
Now you don't need to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Liquify. Well, okay, here's the thing. I've always been a little skittish. Now, people just need to know when they listen to us that we go everywhere. and we have no like ability to control our train of thoughts. As long as we're all okay with that. So, browser extensions, man. How many times have you installed a browser extension and like just read over the fact that, oh, this can see everything on my screen and access all my data? I'm okay with that because I get this one stupid little feature out of it, right? And without really realizing what that means, I'm trying to be more aware of that because I have read about upticks in people using that as vectors to do different sorts of cyber criminal activity, especially if you're into the Bitcoin space or anything like that. But it doesn't have to be Bitcoin; it could be anything, right?
Yeah.
So people need to realize, hey, if you install stuff that adds this kind of functionality, it can see what you type and it can read what you're doing, and it's not that hard for them to fake an extension that looks like it's been around a while and has a lot of uptick that you might think is the right one, and you're installing the wrong one. So,
yeah, that's a good thought. I try to only have once actively enabled. Obviously not always the best at that or whatever, but like just for specific purposes, and then disable them when I'm not using them. Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, I think that's always a hard thing, and I prefer too, because like half the time too when you're debugging something, right? That's one of the first things you need to do is like test in a browser without extensions, because the extension might be borking stuff, and so that's obviously some of these too, like, oh, they muddy up the console with stuff too, and that's super annoying. So yeah, I would agree. That's one of the reasons I really am leaning heavily now on Raycast for a lot of stuff, because
here we go again.
It's just easy to use, and it's not messing with.
What's your referral code?
I think I have one. I don't know. I pay for Raycast.
Put
too,
in the show notes.
Yeah.
We can all benefit.
Yeah, if you want to use Raycast, we'll put it in the show notes. I'll call it out now. It's an affiliate link. I think it's an affiliate link. I don't know. Do you sign up for these affiliate links or whatever, and you just forget that it's like, do I even have one of those? I just use this thing. I don't know. Like, I like it, so like I'm going to talk about it, or I'm going to recommend people use it, and then totally forget you can get something out of it. So we're just fine. Yeah, that's fine. I'd rather people just get the tool. So, the other thing, if we want to segue here, away from Raycast and away from the online code editor within Shopify. Great job, Ben, Max, and team. Y'all crushed it on that. I think it's awesome, even though I'm not going to use it a whole lot. Because I really like the CLI that you guys also work on. So thank you for that. You guys are just creating really great tools that allow us to work on Shopify themes everywhere, and you're awesome for it. So thank you. Big shout out to those guys. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, at least too, that I thought was really cool, was there's been an uptick in Shopify community events, which I think is really neat. We'll post some in the show notes, but I didn't know if you saw, but like they're doing now those Builder Sundays again regularly.
Oh, nice.
And they started doing those also in New York City. So that's really cool as well. New York City. Yeah.
Pace commercial? No, okay.
I don't. Anyways, but they're doing a lot of really interesting stuff on there. Gil had also tweeted not too long ago, Vercel did some kind of like event thing or whatever, where they pumped out their own like SDK for events. So it was more like a standard like developer toolkit, but for like real life events. So not like actually it's like software. It's like, here's your kit for events or whatever, which I thought was kind of interesting. So Gil was asking about that too, from like a more broad sense of like in-person events. Events like editions.dev, like, I don't know. I think they're amazing, but even anything to put together, like, it's just hard to do, like in person. Like in person is really, really hard. And so really interesting from the standpoint of even like the little like meetup we did for SDA, like that took a lot of planning, just like planning around an existing event just for a place that a bunch of devs could crash at for a couple of hours. That's like a lot more planning. Yeah, exactly. It's well worth it. So I hope to see more in-person events. I hope there's more interest in that. Maybe we can do something. Maybe we'll have to go all the way to New York to go do something. But I think maybe we can do something.
We move?
I'm visiting New York. I'm not moving to New York. I
don't know. Maybe we need to get there. Be in the heart of it all.
I'll visit New York. I could never live in a big city. I like visiting big cities. I could never live in one.
I think we got a park. It's really big. I think it's pretty central to the city. So you might.
There you go. Just camp out. I got that sweet tent. Just see what the rules are there. I did want to mention too, ShopQuest is in India. It's in September. So coming up here, by the time this comes out, we'll be in September. So it's coming up. I meant to mention it last time. I don't think I did. So sorry about that, Prakar. Prakar and team like putting out a killer event. They did such a good job last year. I hope to make it one of these years. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
How to party. The question is, now that Harsh Deep doesn't, well, will he be there? Is the big question. So might be worth the trip.
I don't know. I didn't ask him if he was going to be there. He's still getting on board at Shopify, man. Doing all the things.
How long does it take?
Folk. It's a lot. You know Harsh Deep. Harsh Deep's like probably like reading everything from like front to back, just like 24/7. Like I don't know when that guy sleeps. Like, you know, like the way he consumes information is just so impressive to me.
He's a very smart guy and tall. Yes. So Harsh Deep, if you want a chair that's lower, I've got a chair that might be perfect for you. How I think about it. I can get that to Toronto somehow. Yeah.
I have a chair that's perfect for you.
I'm willing to part with it for a really reasonable price.
You know, he paid $30. So,
well, that was. I mean, I've spruced it up since then. There's a bungee cord around it now.
Plus transportation costs. Yeah.
Yeah, a little markup. That's just how business works. Okay.
You spruced it up? The bungee cord? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and I dusted it.
He doesn't need the bungee.
Well, it adds some flair.
It does. Yeah, flair. Yeah.
What else you got, Taylor?
I mean, and that's it. Do we want to hit the changelog, or is there anything else that you wanted to hit too?
I have nothing else I want to talk about. We're at an hour already, believe it or not.
Yeah, we're at the hour. We've got all sorts of things to talk about, like with like, you know, that catalog feed and like working with Shopify Pixels and all this other stuff. But like, we just need to save that for another time. I do want to have somebody come on. So someone listening to the podcast that has made it to this point, that is really good at Shopify Pixels, we need to have you on the podcast. So someone who crushes it with Pixels. Everybody that I talk to is just like, Pixels, man. Woof. You know? Woof. So, and I've worked with them too. I'm pretty happy with how it's worked out, but I obviously have concerns, you know, like, oh man, like adding a pixel for every little thing, or like, do we want to use Google Tag Manager for all this stuff or whatever? Like to like limit the amount of pixels that we're creating and just blah, 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 blah. So I'd love to have somebody come on that has really good strategies, war stories, implementations for Shopify Pixels. So I'm throwing that out there as far as what would be really cool to have somebody on. I think that would be fun. So
I second Taylor's.
Helpful. Thank you.
Yes. We should look at the stats. How many people make it this far? It's got to be very few.
It's few.
Yeah.
You don't want to know.
Why are we doing this, Taylor?
I can say anything here. It's just us.
I could be playing with my kids right now, but no, I'm doing this.
I could be playing with my kids right now. Yeah, my kids went to go to their uncle's house to go to this little mini farm. So the changelog, as far as some things that would be helpful for people to know, just wanted to cover a couple of things since our last call. Order Editing API now supports discounts on fulfilled line items. Did you have a jingle for the changelog that I just missed?
I was singing, yeah. Changes.
Oh man,
David Bowie.
I'm sorry. Do you want to do it again? You want to take it from the top?
No, we probably get dinged copyright for it.
Changelog.
It's such a good cover.
Did you have it? So we can apply discounts to line items that have already been fulfilled using the Order Editing API. So I don't know like what that means necessarily or whatever. Like when you would use this, there's some suggestions about clear transaction history, simplified order management. But basically, if a line item has been fulfilled, you can go ahead and apply a discount kind of type thing to it. So that's interesting. Check that out. That could be helpful to some folks. So now there's also been some updates here. Another note, the font library. So Shopify hosts a whole standard of fonts. Like this is available to you in Liquid and all this other stuff or what have you, kind of type thing too. When you're dropping fonts into different places, and you can hook it up to theme settings, yada yada yada. And so there's now been some updates. There's some automatic replacements for deprecated fonts. So that's just something that you should be made aware of. It's an automatic replacement that's going to be happening gradually throughout August 2025 when we're recording. When this comes out, it's going to be September. But if you're building themes, it suggests that you should have already updated your theme presets by that January 3rd, 2025 timeline. And then there's also a deprecated fonts list. So just make sure, obviously, you're not utilizing deprecated fonts. So be aware.
You, Taylor.
There's more. I mean, there was 2 more. Do you want to just be done? You were just happy with the 2?
Go. No.
It's
just us. We stay here as long as you want.
The changelog. No, not here as long as we want. So there's also now an option to determine the extension status with a new Shopify.app.extensions method in AppBridge. I
saw that.
This seems super helpful. You can identify which of your checkout and customer extensions are active on a merchant's store. So that seems crazy helpful because that's been a big beef for a long time. Actually, I was kind of burying the lead here talking about this one third. Should have made it the last one. That would have been really great. But it does let you know basically if it's active, and so you'll need the extension handle in your TOML file, and then it'll say activations. It'll actually list the targets where each extension is live. So that seems super, super helpful. Very helpful as well, particularly since we're running into this upgrade status. By the time this episode comes out, thank you and order status pages need to have been updated for Plus shops. Folks that aren't on Plus get a little bit longer of a lead time there. But if you're on Plus, or your merchant is on Plus rather, they'll have had to have upgraded by the time this is coming out. So that's there. And lastly, there is a new preserve standalone variant strategy for the product variants bulk create mutation. So with the admin GraphQL API, so something that should be helpful for you to know if you've got like an existing standalone variant, whether it's default or custom, it should be retained when doing a bulk create mutation. So I'm sure that's really helpful. I don't know if I'm not using that, obviously. I'm sure y'all will find that useful at some point or whatever. Variants are a pain. So anything to help work around them when creating variants, I'm sure is very, very helpful. So that's what
whenever you hear the word bulk API, I always think of creatine powder for some reason.
Bulk.
Anywho, well, thank you, Taylor. Your devotion to the sacred task of changelog distillation is admirable.
Thank you.
Since I don't have time to write an AI agent to do it for me, I appreciate the effort you put into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now,
sir.
My favorite part, the third half of our show, is our pick of the week. Do you have one, Taylor? I can go first. I'm just getting you ready.
Well, I mean, I was pretty chatty, so I'll let you talk about your pick of the week.
My pick of the week is a little festival, actually, I just found out about. It's called Paradise of the Hills. It takes place in Nelsonville, Ohio, which is just outside of Athens, if you're familiar, kind of the southeast corner of Ohio. And the reason I'm calling it out is not the festival itself, which seemed lovely. I did walk through it, but the event at the festival that I went to attend, which was they have a fiddling contest, which I didn't know that was even a thing, but it is. And I know because my son competed in it. So I drove him down last Friday, and he got to go on stage at the Stewart Opera House there in Nelsonville, Ohio, and play his fiddle in front of a live audience, along with some other very, very good fiddle players from quite far away. Some people came, I think, as far as, did I hear Georgia one came from? Definitely one came from West Virginia, a couple places in Ohio. Wow. Drove hours to get there and compete. And man, fiddling, it's really cool, and they're very good at it. And my son had a great time, so.
Nice.
Paradise of the Hills, Nelsonville, Ohio. You just passed. You have to wait a year to go back. But there's other fiddling contests.
Can't wait a whole year.
Actually, there's one. Sorry, there's one coming up in Worcester that I told you about already. So we're looking to maybe go to that at the county fair up there in Wayne County. So that'll be
it's Worcester. So don't call it Worcester if you're up there. They'll know immediately you're not from the area. So
Worcester. That's what I said. Worcester.
Not Worcester. Not woo. Worcester.
Wuss? Like you're a wuss?
Worcester.
Worcester.
Almost like it's with a U. It's that there's no woo sound. So right, that's how they get you. They're like, you're not from here.
It's good to know.
They'll get you.
I'll be embarrassed to say when I moved to Ohio many years ago, there's a city and I in my head like, this is pronounced Bucyrus, but it's Bucyrus.
Bucyrus, yeah.
Which didn't sound right, but I'm like, what else could it be?
So if you're in Springfield, Missouri, there's a street called it's spelled like Kearney, Kearney, but it's pronounced Carney. Yeah. So you say, and like so you always knew. It's funny, like little things like that. Anyways, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Worcester. So
yeah, Worcester would be great. What was your pick?
So my pick is going to be more along the AI theme. I've enjoyed using Grok AI. That's the Twitter or X.com thing. If you can use Grok AI for like workouts, I've liked using that. It was really helpful for when I was traveling, and then even before traveling, and then getting back, kind of like, ramping down workouts from what I'd like know or traditionally do, and then ramping back up again or what have you. And I've liked because it does a better job, particularly if like keeping context of like, this is like the equipment that I have, and this is the kind of workouts I like to do. And then this is like the weight that I usually do stuff with. It does a good job actually like retaining that information as opposed to other AI and tools that I've used. And so I'll tell it, like even today, I was like, I'm going to do some RDLs, some Romanian deadlifts. And then like, I'm going to do those heavy. And then I want to do a full body like workout that also like incorporates some core movement. And it'll just give me like a bunch of like really good exercises to do. And that's like what I do for the day. It's been very nice to not have to think about it. It just spits it out. That's half the battle for me all the time, trying to convince myself to work out, is like, what am I going to do today? And so having something just tell me like, just do this. I'm like, all right, thanks, man. Appreciate you. Or lady, I don't know. Thanks, Grok, whatever that is. So that's very, very helpful. So Grok for, building out workouts and stuff like that or whatever, pretty helpful.
Gotcha. So if you want to deal with stuff that involves either working out or fascism, you should use Grok.
Fascism?
Well, because they had the whole like Nazi issue.
What?
What?
Oh, that version or whatever, they had to like peel back because they were like, oh man, it got super racist really fast. Like,
was it referring to itself as like a digital Hitler or something? I can't remember what it said, but it was.
I don't remember what it was. I just remember it was like we had to pull that back fast, and I was like, oh, what happened?
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, just be careful about what you ask it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, as long as it's helping you. All right. Well, Taylor, you've wasted another perfectly good hour you could have spent coding, talking to me here on the Liquid Weekly Podcast. Thanks for joining us. If you made it this far, hope your workout goes well per car. Hope you have a good day. And we'll see you guys on the next one. If there is one, which there will be.
Oh, there will be.
I'm
excited for the next guest.
Won't be me, apparently. All right. See you guys.